Good morning, 7:45 where I'm at, and I'm on my way to my W-2 job to grind it out. Let's talk about a W-2 job. So anytime I go into an interview, I at least in the last uh, few years, because I was with the same employer, W-2, on my way to a partnership for 12 years. Left there, went full time in my consulting company, which is Livish, hence the What's Up My Livish family. That is my business development company, and I have, you know, played with what I do and what type of company my company is for a really long time, and just I do all things business development. If you want to grow, that is my MO. It's my passion. It's what I know how to do. It's what I know how to lead. I know how to pull in resources, know how to, you can get into all the details, cut costs, things like that, increase revenue, but ultimately it's increase revenue, right? Cutting costs is one part, but I've always believed if you got a problem, you can sell out of it, or you can strategically align so someone else will help you sell out of any kind of financial shortcomings. But anyway, business development's always been my thing, even when I was, not in that arena, or even, in that space. My mind just has always been about how can we be more efficient, right? And so I took that from like always seeing problems to finding ways to solve those problems, right? So my instinctual nature has always been to see and identify bottlenecks, as they call them, as I learned later in life, just for esoteric terminology. But to define bottlenecks and then always have a solution for them. It was never like, let me complain about this problem. It's, hey, here's what the problem is. This is what I think we can do. Or let me see how we can overcome this bottleneck or streamline this thing. So anyway, that's always been my nature. And so whenever I had to go back to, I didn't have to go back to, I chose to go back to a W-2 just because of some financial blows I took over the 3 years in my own consulting company. And went back to a W-2 employment position, and I went back with a guy that I've worked with at the dealership level at a high level. He was running dealerships when I was doing the same, and he ended up leaving the same group and started his own business, went and bought a business. I didn't have any wherewithal on that, but he bought something he was passionate about, which was a boat dealership. And since then, over the last 8 years, he's blown this boat dealership up. So I thought, you know what, if I'm going to go back to work for somebody other than myself, I'm going to go back and work for this guy. And so that was a little humble pie for me. But, I have a family and a wife and a child. He's 2. And so I had to make some really tough fucking decisions, and check out on my ego and my pride and just go, where are you at? Where are you going? I know you want these things, but I got to achieve certain results right now, which was financial. So I went back into this W-2 position. He had 1 salesperson. Now we have 6. And, we were doing X amount of dollars in the hundreds of thousands, and now we're doing millions. So the nice thing about that is that reassured me of my skill, because I was able to come back into a seat as a leader and build up a team that has produced some incredible results. It's phenomenal. And I won't get into the numbers, but that's what I've always been able to do. And I think, for me, I think a lot of people struggle with being an employee or being a business owner. Like now in the world today, everybody's like, you have to be an entrepreneur. I don't think you have to be an entrepreneur. Like I've always operated like an owner, which is why I've been successful, right? I put high stock in the companies I work with because that's what gets me my money. That's also, that's the person that allows me the platform to operate in a way that is conducive for me to make more money. Now, for clarity, I've always, for the majority of my life, been in a sales position. So the better I get at my skill, the better I'm able to lead, the better I'm able to train and streamline things, the more my income will multiply. Now, if you're in an hourly job, it's a little bit different, right? Because I don't work by the hour, I work by the deal. But at the same time, I am putting in hours. And if you are an hourly employee, you can work as an hourly employee, but you shouldn't have the MO that, hey, they just need to pay me more money because I work harder. You should have the MO that I'm going to make this company better. I'm going to continue to rise up, be a leader so that I can get paid from the efforts of more people, right? And so that in the same kind of concept is like commission, right? So the more people you lead, the higher your income comes. But don't ever go into the job that they just need to pay me more for doing the same job, because if you do that, it's gonna be very hard for you to scale up income. So the point of this conversation is, you really got to accept the fact that even as a W-2 employee, if you want to be an entrepreneur, it doesn't mean you have to stop. I have a company on the side that in my spare time, which is very limited between family and this job, is my ultimate end-all, be-all. But that doesn't mean I have to leave a W-2. Like, I want to partner with this company that I'm with now. And I shifted that state of mind that I want to become the best possible leader in any role that I'm in, whether I'm doing my own company or I'm with somebody else's company, and I want to operate like an owner. And with that said, that changes the perspective on things. And when you do that, you become a leader because you're looking at the bigger picture versus just your job. And I think when I know that, in my experience, when you operate with that mentality, it's inevitable that you'll rise because you're okay taking on challenges. You become effective with the purpose of getting results rather than just talking about those things or complaining about things. You see bottlenecks to improve the company and the lives of the people within the company as well as the customers of that company. And when you have that mentality, no matter where you're at, whether you're an entrepreneur, which is critical as an entrepreneur, right? You're serving others, so you have to always have that mentality. How do I serve others better? And that may be externally and internally. But if you don't have that mentality, it's going to be very hard to go from a W-2 to an entrepreneurial role in the first place. So get that very clear, that if you don't look at how you can serve others better, not just yourself, you don't look at how you can serve others better, you're not going to be very successful as an entrepreneur anyway, because the whole point of being an entrepreneur is to provide a service that adds convenience or betterment to a situation or some other people's lives. And ultimately that comes back to you by you having a better life because you're helping more people. And I always have loved this principle from Bob Burg and John David Mann's book, The Go-Giver. If you haven't read The Go-Giver, you need to read it. It is the best book I have ever read in my entire life. Now, that's for me. It's about an hour and a half read. It's a short read. It's storytelling, and it talks about the stratospheric success, 7 principles to stratospheric success. And one of those principles is your income is directly relative to how many people you serve and how well you serve them. And I absolutely believe that. And that's the general principle, building your way up to understanding what that looks like and how to be able to serve more people, because, again, you as an individual can only directly serve so many people. You have to learn how to lead and empower others to serve people in a way that you believe or you have experienced being more valuable for other people. And when you can do that, your income will grow, whether you're an hourly employee or you're on commission or you're an entrepreneur. But if you never develop that understanding and operate from that metric of how do I serve others better, then you won't be a successful entrepreneur, period. If you don't have a valuable service that can serve multiple people, you always struggle with income and revenue, whether that's in a W-2 or a 1099 position or K-1 position if you're a partner. So with that said, this is more about my evolution. I'm 40 years old. I've always wanted to own my own business. I've started and failed at many entrepreneurial endeavors. In the scope of, is it still going? So failed there to keep it going. But I learned so much along the way of the things that like my shortcomings, which is extremely important. You got to really be able to get true and intimate with yourself as an individual if you ever want to grow beyond where you're at. So if you want change, you have to admit the shortcomings that you have in your life. That's extremely crucial for any endeavor you go into, whether it's a small endeavor or a large endeavor. You have to get really honest with yourself often in life and give yourself hard truths and absorb some of the feedback that comes to you and take that as an opportunity to learn about yourself. And if you get honest with yourself, and where I was in the position where my current company that I still have, I was shorted on over $2 million in dues from contracts that I had provided incredible results for, but they basically just cut me off, blocked me, and did not pay me. And so those are hard truths, right? Because now I'm not earning the income I need to be able to provide my family. So I had to go back to a W-2, and I hated that. And it put me in a bad state and didn't allow me to operate freely in my mind. I felt like I was struggling, and so all that weight of feeling like I was a failure translated into my work, translated to my friends, translated to my family, most importantly. And it was important to me to get out of that shift because I wanted to get back to an optimal performance level. And the only way that I could do that is to accept where I was at and really define the value that this opportunity was giving me. And so since doing that, the stress level and anxiety level has went down. I've accepted that, hey, I have an opportunity to succeed in multiple avenues, not just one. This isn't taking anything away from me. It's actually adding value because now I get income and I get to operate in a platform. And I get to lead people, which is ultimately what I love to do. And so when I removed my ego and my pride and realized that this is what I love to do, whether it's in a W-2 position or in my own entrepreneurial endeavors, this is what I love to do. And I'm not capped on my income because I have the fortunate skill and experience to be able to jump back into a leadership role, which ultimately adds to a higher level of income. And I get to learn again. And I've learned so much just getting back into the role with all the challenges that I face that, man, I am good at it and I can continue to do it. So that's been a boost of confidence in me. And I've actually had more opportunities, just landed some very large opportunities and contracts come my way with the less time that I've had in my entrepreneurial endeavor than I did in the 2 years that I was pursuing my entrepreneurial endeavor, which is the Livish agency, which is ultimately the company and the way of being that I want to contribute to others in this life, which in return I will, make a living, etc. So, again, I hope that the wisdoms that I'm giving are clear. Again, you have to put these in perspectives of your own life because everyone's life is absolutely different. I've never wanted to be a guru or that, but I do like to talk about the true experiences and the obstacles and the challenges emotionally, physically, mentally that I go through in my experiences because I think these gurus miss that. Like, oh, everything's possible. Yes, everything is possible. But the things that most people get blocked up on or get held back on is the headspace that they're in, that they have to overcome to be able to receive these things and then believe in that opportunity and continue to operate in a way that is conducive to success in the arenas that these gurus are talking about. And a lot of the gurus, they don't talk about that stuff. The nitty gritty, the shitty parts in life are the most important things that we can share with others because I feel like it lets other people know, like, I'm there too. Like, this shit happens. Like, it's not easy because there is nothing easy about going into places and doing things that other people haven't done to live a life that other people haven't done. That's the whole reason that there's only a few people that live a certain way because most people are not willing to go through that. Most people don't have mentors. Most people don't have support systems. Most people don't have, the wherewithal to overcome a lot of those challenges mentally, physically, and personally. And so hopefully I add value in that arena. So again, there's nothing wrong with the W-2 employee. Make sure that you lead people within that platform. Be grateful for that platform that allows you to make money and become a better you and experience things and has opportunities to grow, etc. Because those are all the things once you start operating like an owner and start operating like someone who knows that it's important to better the lives of others around them. That is the main core value of an entrepreneur, and that's how companies become successful. Then when you apply that in the W-2, then you will learn how to become an entrepreneur. And I hope that adds value to you today and some clarity on some things that you may not otherwise have had clarity. Thank you guys so much for listening to my rants. And again, I hope I've added some value to today. Keep coming back, and I keep sharing this stuff because I do believe that it helps in a big way for people like us who have big dreams and take on tough challenges and unknown challenges and are just willing to put themselves out there because they see the greater good for others and themselves. Yeah, stay lavish, guys. Appreciate you. Have a great day.